It's a beautiful day in this neighborhood, a beautiful day in this neighborhood. Would you be mine? It's a neighborly day in this beauty wood, a neighborly day for beauty. Would you be mine? Would you be mine? I have always wanted to have a neighbor just like you. I've always wanted to live in a neighborhood with you, so let's make the most of this beautiful day. Since we're together, we might as well say, would you be mine? Would you be mine? Won't you be my neighbor? Won't you please? Won't you please? Please won't you be my neighbor?
Hello, neighbor.
Hi, television neighbor. I'm glad we're together again.
You know, today I'm going to Rollins College to celebrate the 50th anniversary of Mr. Rogers' neighborhood. So there is a tour going on Rollins College, and I will be going there, and I'll be happy to take you. Now, Rollins College is in Winter Park in Florida. And here, in my home, I live in Orlando, which is about 20 minutes from Rollins College. Rollins College was where Mr. Rogers went to get his degree. And that's where we are going. So I'm going to take you, my YouTube or online video neighbor, and we're going to Rollins College. Let's go. Here we are. Stop number 1 of the walking tour for Mr. Rogers' neighborhood here at Rollins College. This is the Cornell Fine Arts Museum. So come on, let's take a look. Here we are inside the Cornell Fine Arts Museum. As you can see, there's some very interesting things in here. But we are here to see Mr. Rogers' 50th anniversary neighborhood celebration. Oh, and here it is. Do you see that? This is his cardigan sweater. And these are his sneakers. Isn't that wonderful? Now on the side over here is the description of what is on display. Fred Rogers, Mr. Rogers, American, 1928 to 2003, which is when he was alive. His sweater and sneakers. And this is a gift to Rollins College from Fred Rogers himself. Both the sweater and sneakers were worn by Fred Rogers, 1951, on the children's program, Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood, which aired on PBS from 1968 to 2001. At the start of each episode, Mr. Rogers would change into a sweater and tennis shoes and sing, "Won't You Be My Neighbor?" Each sweater was knitted by his mother, Nancy Rogers. The sweater and sneakers are on view to celebrate the 50th anniversary of the debut of Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. So let's take another look. This is it. this is the display. See that? This is stop number 1. Now we are going to stop number 2, which is the Tiedtke Concert Hall, which is right around the corner from where we are. So let's go. Here we are, stop 2 of the Mr. Rogers Neighborhood Walking Tour. This is the Tiedtke Concert Hall down there, and we're about to go in to see another thing of Mr. Rogers here at Rollins College. Come on. So here we are at the Tiedtke Concert Hall. There's probably a class going on inside in here. So that's why these doors seem to be locked. So we can't really go into the Tiedtke Concert Hall today. So we just have to go on another day. So let's go to the next stop, stop number 3. Come on, it's okay. So here I am at the Frederick Lyman Hall. Lyman or Lehman? How do you pronounce it? This is where we will see the Walk of Fame. It's going to be a stone somewhere on the bottom here. And such a beautiful day in this neighborhood. A beautiful day. Rollins College is such a beautiful campus. I do my radio show here, and this right here is exactly the sidewalk that I walk up to from my car to get to the radio station, which is that building right there. Now, I didn't know it, but here it is. Stop number 3 of the Mr. Rogers Neighborhood Walking Tour. And, oh, there's his engraving right down here. Do you see it? Here. Fred McFeely Rogers. You see that? Here, let me turn this camera around. If I could. I guess I cannot. Let me tap on the screen to see. Now, if you know how to turn the camera while this is going, I can't seem to find it here. Okay. Well, that's something that I have to learn, to turn the camera around while I'm recording. So, I don't know if you see it, but that's it right here. Fred McFeely Rogers, Mr. Rogers Neighborhood. This is the Walk of Fame where there's all these famous people that Rollins College has displayed. So that's basically it. Next stop, we're going into a library. Well, we'll see another of Mr. Rogers' neighborhood memorabilia. But first, I want to give you a bonus over here, okay? Since I just told you that I do my radio show over here at Rollins College at WPRK 91.5, I'm going to take you on a tour to the radio station. I'm just going to stop by and say hello. And it's just only a walk away. Let's see, there's birds up there. Those are crows, the black crows. You hear that? I love nature. The landscaping over here is beautiful. Okay, here we are. This is Rollins radio station, WPRK 91.5, the voice of Rollins College. And this is where I do my radio show, Friday afternoons from 5 to 7 p.m. It's called DJ Mo Radio, fresh new music and Hypest Throwbacks. And there's the entrance. So I'm just going to stop by and say hello. And this is where I do my radio show almost every week. As you can see, there are speakers out here, so the Rollins College students and everyone who walks by can listen to the station. And this is where it is. So let's go down to the basement over here. Oh, looks like it's locked. I can call to get into the station, but I won't today since I don't have a show. And I think it's locked for a reason. It might not be a DJ present or anybody in the office, so it's on automation right now. So we'll just have to do that later. Maybe on the way back, huh? So let's come on over to the library. We'll see the next Mr. Rogers Neighborhood Memorabilia here at Rollins College. So here we are, stop number 4 of the Mr. Rogers Neighborhood Walking Tour. We are here at the Olin Library. Or how do you pronounce it? Olin? Olin? In Spanish it's Olin. Or maybe in English it's Olin. And this is where we find another Mr. Rogers memorabilia. So let's go in. Okay, here we are at the library. We have to be very quiet. We have to be very quiet at all libraries, you know that. Okay, this is where stop number 4 is. This is the display for Mr. Rogers Neighborhood 50th Anniversary Tour, walking tour here at Rollins College. And this is what's on display here. So I'm going to stop this video and turn this around and show you what they have over here. Alright, this is the display of Mr. Rogers Neighborhood. As you can see, you make each day a special day just by just your being you. And here we have the display from the archives. Here's Mr. Rogers. That's his yearbook photo. He majored in music composition. This is his senior class photo of 1951. Here in this book over here, this is the foreword to the world, according to Mr. Rogers. I think I just bought this book, so I'll be receiving it very shortly from the mail. And I'll show you some excerpts of it when I get it. Here's another display. This is the postage stamp that just came out this year, 2018, of Mr. Rogers and King Friday the 13th. This is right here. Let's read this to see what this is all about. Mr. Rogers wrote this letter when he donated one of his sweaters made by his mother to the college in 1991. It says, "Dear," is that Rita? "Thank you again for all your many kindness to us this past weekend. What a thoughtful person you are. Here's the sweater I promised for the archives. I gave the sneakers to Sam Stark to deliver to you. May you and Harley have many fine years at Rollins and in Winter Park. Again, our thanks, Fred. P.S. After my dad died in 1970, my mother married Mr. flag. It's very hard to read some people's writing, is it? Yeah. Her full name became Nancy McFeely Rogers, but her later sweaters bore her tag, Nancy Flag. That's Mr. Rogers' handwriting. And that came from the original Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood pad. Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood was produced in Pittsburgh, as you can see right there. And the company is called Family Communications, Inc., which Mr. Rogers started. Well, here's a photo over here. This is Rita. Mr. Rogers lays his stone at the Walk of Fame in 1991. This is what we just saw. This is the photo of him actually placing the stone into that Walk of Fame that we just went to. And bottom here, this is Mr. Rogers' calendar, a quote a day. He's got so much wisdom to tell us in so many of his shows. I've been binge watching Mr. Rogers on pbskids.org, and even as an adult, his wisdom still rings true today. And this is the compilation of Mr. Rogers' neighborhood songs sung by various artists that came out in 2005. I think there's John Cicada in there. He sings the, as you can see, John Cicada's in there. That's track 1, I know that. Okay. This is Mr. and Mrs. Rogers with the president of Rollins College. And here he is visiting the college's Child Development Center in 1991. This is back in 1951 when Mr. Rogers graduated from Rollins College. This is what we will see soon. Next, actually. This is the marble plaque. And he carried this picture inside his wallet every day since he came to Rollins College. And we'll do that next. This is the Stand Spur newspaper here at Rollins College. In the spring of 1949, Mr. Rogers was in costume back then, and there was a contest. Do you recognize what costume they're in? It's Raggedy Ann and Andy. And this is Mr. Rogers' wife. So there you have it. The display here at the library of Mr. Rogers. So we're going to go to our last stop. And we'll see that plaque that we just saw the photo from inside the library. So come on. Here is our last stop. This is the plaque that Mr. Rogers came to. That's the same exact plaque that we saw at the last place that we went to. Life is for service. And he lived by this I guess, famous quote for the rest of his life. Basically, his service that he provided to us the general public who was watching public television at the time. Amazing service, so much wisdom, so much to learn about things that we've always been curious about, lessons in life, feelings, and how to deal with them, and many of life's obstacles that get in your way when you're growing up. Even as an adult, it still rings true today. Like I just said in the library, I've been binge watching Mr. Rogers on pbskids.org, and I've actually learned even more stuff, even more things as I was a kid. So this is it, the Mr. Rogers Neighborhood Tour. This is stop number 5, as you can see over here. And that is our last stop here at Rollins College. Such a beautiful day in this neighborhood, don't you think? And look, these doors resemble Mr. Rogers, kind of like Mr. Rogers' home in the set. And these doors over here. So look at that. How awesome is that? And the landscaping is beautiful, and as you can see, the landscaping guys are constantly working to make this campus of Rollins College as beautiful as it can be. I love coming here almost every week to do my radio show. Speaking of my radio show, let's go back to WPRK 91.5 and see if I can call to get in and give you a bonus tour. Shall we? Come on. Now, as I'm walking from Mr. Rogers' dormitory to the radio station, do you recognize this guy? I believe he is Benjamin Franklin, and this is right here. It says, "Genius without education is like silver in the mine." Benjamin Franklin. And it's amazing what this college can display. It's such a beautiful college. You got some squirrels in the trees too. Lots of nature going around here. That is interesting. We are a 24/7 college radio station, and looks like no one's here at the station at the moment. So we'll just have to wait another day for this tour. So let's go back to my home, and I will tell you a little bit more about Mr. Rogers. Come on, let's go back to my home. Bye. That was a very special tour, wasn't it, of Mr. Rogers' neighborhood? Don't you think so? It's great to be around such a wonderful place with so many wonderful memories. Do you ever wonder what you would do if you went to college? What you would study? Do you ever wonder what you will become when you grow up? Well, Mr. Rogers has left us a legacy and many, many years of wisdom. To me, when I was little, when I was a kid, just like you. And it always gives me such a good feeling to know that there is somebody out there who cares so much about us and our well-being, and for us to freely express our feelings. It's such a good feeling to know you're alive. It's such a happy feeling. You're growing inside when you wake up, ready to say, I think I'll make us happy.
It's such a good feeling, a very good feeling, a feeling you know that I'll be back when the day is new, and I'll have more ideas for you, and you'll have things you'll want to talk about. I will too. You always make each day such a special day. You know how? By just your being you. Only one person in the whole world like you. That's you yourself. I'll be back next time. Bye.